Hello. So today I'm inside. Unlike usually when I'm out and about. So why am I inside? Well, normally I'd be out for a walk right now, but the weather has been horrible today. So it's like raining. It's actually stopped now. Raining most of the day, but that's not the real reason. There's a prediction of a lot of lightning today. I think there was some earlier. And I tend to like to go out in lightning. Basically, I know you hardly ever hear of anyone getting hit, but if you're out in the middle of nowhere, up on a hill, you are taking an unnecessary risk. And they reckon walkers and golfers and people outside are the high risk people who get hit by lightning. So the gist is, I thought I'd stay inside. And then I thought, well, am I going to make a video or not? And I thought, why don't I talk about how I plan my walks? Take you through what I do, where I find the walks, how I come up with them, how I plan them, all that kind of thing. So before I show you some stuff on the computer, I thought about, I'll tell you, how do I decide where to go? How do I find these places? So there's a number of sources, one of which is friends. I think I might have mentioned I'm in a walking club, and sometimes people in the club give me ideas and say, can we go here, can we go there, do that kind of thing. Sometimes I'll just Google Sussex walks, things like that. I also, because Google tracks you, I do get notified like Sussex Times and things like that that say best places to go and come up with things, and sometimes I watch a lot of YouTube, although there's not many channels do Sussex walks, but occasionally I'll get ideas off YouTube. And sometimes when I'm out and about, I'll see something and think, oh, I'd like to go and explore that a bit more. And occasionally, if I've not got anything planned, I'll just go and find a blank map and look at the footpaths and just make something up, go from there, sort of thing. So yeah, there are various ways and means that I come up with the ideas, and I've got hundreds of different routes, because basically you can just look on the map and find places. The biggest issue I ever have, and I'll see if I can show you that, the biggest issue I have when I plan out these walks is where am I going to park, because sometimes it can be quite tricky. You can't just pull up on a country lane and park on farmer's land or anything like that. So sometimes the trickiest bit is finding the parking space. But then if you're prepared to do a nice long walk, the odds are you'll find a car parking space at some point. So I'll probably show you on the computer what I actually do now. Oh, and here we have a familiar face. Young Travis. You okay, Travis? Sorry? Are you good?
Yes.
Are you enjoying your boring day stuck in?
Yes.
Oh, that's all right then. Yeah, poor old Trav's been stuck in as well because of the weather. Anyway, we'll go and have a look and see how I plan the walks. Okay. I'm not sure how much you can see me, but it's this you want to be looking at. Yeah, it's my little den with a computer. It's actually my daughter's laptop I'm borrowing because my computer failed. Stopped working, so she gave me her old laptop. Seems to be doing the trick. If it's a bit slow, bear with me. So I was going to show you now, what do I do? Now I use this app. Hopefully you can see my mouse moving. Don't worry about reading it too much. It's just to give you an idea. But I use an app called All Trails. And I know there's Ordnance Survey one. There's other apps, but I just happen to like this one. I don't know if you can see that, but I pay for the pro version primarily because I use my own trails. I write my own trails up because then I've got the freedom to do what I want. But it does come with a lot of pre-booked ones. But again, some of those are great, but some of them you still have to try and find a car park and things like that. So either way, what do I do? So first of all, I talked to earlier, I've got my idea. I know where I want to go. Now what I've got here is my favourites. You've got filing, so you can have all sorts of different things on here. So I could say I've got save maps. Yeah. I've got favourites, I've got lists. Again, I'm showing you all these lists and everything I've done on here. So there's like lists of maps for club walk. So that's the club, the walking club. Ones I'm going to keep, ones I've done, ones I'm planning on doing next, A and B. It's very, or maybe it's the OCD, it's very organised. And then I've got my favourites, which is the current ones I'm potentially going to do. which I'll click on. That's what I'm going to show you. And I'll show you one I prepared earlier, and it'll give you an idea of how to set them up. So there's a few here that I was looking at doing recently. I'm not going to promise which one I'm doing next, but one of the ones I was working on is I've been thinking about going to St Leonard's Forest. And again, that was something I've heard of the place, and I'll tell you where that came from, just to give you an idea. That came from some report on my Google homepage, and it was talking about the Legend of the Dragon in St Leonard's. And it's not too far from where I am, it's Horsham. So I thought, that'll be interesting. So again, I know you won't necessarily be able to see the screen full up. It takes a while to load, but it gives you an idea. So I've written this route for St Leonard's Forest. And you can see start, end. It starts here. And there's all these different routes. And it's saying route 1, route 2, route 3, route 4. What that is the red one is where I've drawn the route out. The primary route, which is at the moment 7.4 miles, and then all these blue things, which you can see, they are additional loops. So I can go up to, I can't remember what I've called this, 9 miles, possibly more if I want to do all of these. But if I start doing the blue routes as well, it gives me 9 miles. So I'll show you how I map it in a minute, but I literally mapped it out. Just go on here, so I can zoom in. And it's got an intelligent click thing, so you can map it out. You can put waypoints here. So SC there means shortcut, so I know if I need to do that I can take a shortcut. I found a car park, which again I might be able to zoom in on. So what I would have done there is I would have gone for a car park in St Leonard's Forest. I'll show you some of the other things in a sec. I'm not going to write a whole route today, that would probably get slightly boring. Right, I've changed to create a map. As I say, it's not an all trails tutorial, they're probably all fairly similar, but I'll just quickly show you how I'd go about doing it. So I just go draw on map, and then I can just zoom in. That's the whole of the south. It's brilliant. This has got the footpaths all over the country, and it is, there's a couple of pitfalls, but it is pretty good. So let's say I want to go Angmering Way, that's north of Chichester. Kingley Vale showing up there. So let's say if I wanted to do a Kingley Vale one, I know roughly where the car park is. It's somewhere around here. So I've opened up some more. So what I would then do is on Google Maps, which I have open, I would look up Kingley Vale. Kingley Vale, Chichester, yep. Google Maps, don't ever use it for country walking, but it's great for car parks. So anything to do with roads, Google Maps is great. But I bumped into this couple once, and they had a small child and it was raining, and they were very, very upset because they were relying on Google Maps to get them through footpaths. Now, if you've ever seen the Google vans going around, they drive on roads. They don't have people walking around. So what happened was they were completely lost because it couldn't tell them the footpaths, it would just tell them where the nearest road was. I did the same thing once. So the gist is, don't use Google Maps for walking on footpaths. It doesn't have footpaths, but it's great for the roads. So there you go, there's Kingley Vale, and if I zoom in, I found a car park, West Stoke car park. And what I would normally do, I'm not logged in on this Google Maps, but I would save that. I have like a saved thing for all the car parks, and if I come across a car park when I'm walking, I save that as well. So I would find a car park, then I would go back here. So that is West Stoke, St Andrews. So I'd go back to here. I would then find, right, there's West Stoke. I would find the equivalent of where is that on the map. There's the church. My guess is the car park's here. You can change the view. So I would go for, if it comes up, it's a bit slow. The computer's old. I then zoom in. That looks like the car park. In fact, it is the car park. You can see all the cars parked. I'll go back to I usually use the All Trails view. The Ordnance Survey map view on this is not a proper Ordnance Survey map view. I'll show you that in a minute, but that's the car park. So I would just bang. Yeah, so that is the Kingley Vale car park. I would then have Google Maps, which I can use on my phone for the sat nav. And there's a footpath. Now, you have to check it's not private. That is running up to Kingley Vale. So if I click there, it's got smart routing. So it goes on the car park. So I literally just decide how far do I want to go. You know, check these routes. That will be the nature reserve. You can do a 3D option, which is quite good. It'll show you. That also shows you whether you're going up a hill or not. It's thinking about the 3D. There you go. So it shows you going up a hill. It's pretty good. I like it. As I say, I'm not telling you have to use all trails. I like it. So to cut it short, I would then map it. I will map a circular route, strange enough, to get back to the car. I'll decide how many miles I want to do. Quite often I'll do a 10 miler, but I'll have options. I've done some that will go up to 20 miles, especially if you're doing an out and back loop. You know, however you want to do it. Now, a couple of other things I would say. So I use Google Maps to find car parks. Now, Bing, which is Microsoft search. Bing Maps. It's brilliant. It's got Ordnance Survey maps on it. So if I went here, now will it find it? What I'll then do is where I'm walking, I try to find out some interesting things. Now it doesn't have Kingley Vale. I know we're near Chichester, so I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll stop the video and I'll come back to you when I found it. Okay, I found it. As I realise you probably can't see too much on this screen, but basically I've now found Kingley Vale. I knew roughly where it was. This is the OS map, so I can zoom right in. There's a P there, shows the car park, and I'd look out for anything of interest. Like I know there's tumuli there. I've been there. There's a video as well. You can look it up, Kingley Vale. The Long Barrows. There's another car park across there. So it's quite interesting. Sometimes I can find different things, and I'll think, oh, Devil's Humps. So there you go. That's there. Again, it's on my video. So I can see Kingley Vale, I can see Devil's Humps. It's been very slow, it's my computer. So what I then do is I might want to look it up, find some interesting facts. So if I then go to Google, and I shall put Devil's Humps, Kingley Vale, comes up. I'll find out some stuff about it. Hence, I can give you a few interesting facts. Strange enough, the first one comes up all trails. It's probably because I've been using all trails. Kingley Vale, a little bit of information there, so I can straight away see how many hectares, etc., etc. Wikipedia, I love. It's brilliant. It comes up with all sorts of stuff. So, Devil's Humps, known as the King's Grave. So I immediately know some stuff. Bronze Age barrows, tells you all about them. So I just use it to do a bit of research. Bit of folklore, and this is where I found out Kingley Vale was possibly where there was a Viking battle when they were returning from a raid. So that gives you an idea of how I plan a route, find the car park. Yeah, the other thing I would always say is if you have to go on to a road, I always use, if I can find out how to use it here, probably not. If I click on there, I basically use Street View. I hate walking on roads when I'm country walking. Here we go. Drop the little person there. Bang. I will use Street View to check if I have to walk on a road, is there enough room or is it going to be dangerous, especially with Trav. Well, I don't want to get run over either, but I am not taking Trav on a road where there's any danger. That happened once where we had to go through this tunnel and it was horrendous. Either way, right, this is the car park. So I can get an idea of the car park, what sort of size it is. Sometimes you'll be able to see if there's any signs on it. I know that one's free. But usually you'll see if there's a ticket machine or something. You can find out that kind of information. I know there's a sign there. I've been there. That is the lane that goes up to Kingley Vale. That's a little information thing. It's pretty busy because people are parking on the road, but that's walkable. In fact, I can see people walking, and you can tell that sort of lane is going to be fairly quiet. It's an access lane, there's not going to be too many people. So yeah, that's the other thing I will always do. If I have to go on a road, I check it. Yeah. Now, I'll come back in a sec with any thoughts about pitfalls. Sorry if this is a bit boring, I'm just staring at the computer because that's how I do it. It's just all on here. It's not the most dynamic thing. The fun bit's getting out there. But I would say it's all in the prepping. This is the whole thing. You do your prep beforehand. Can this be done on a phone? You can only write your route on a computer, but you can have there's an option on my phone to make the website think I'm on a computer, but it is a total you imagine trying to do this on a tiny little phone screen, so you are 10 times better off if you can get a screen. And I think that would be the same for any app. The other thing is with the Bing Maps, if you want the Ordnance Survey option, again, you have to do the option, whatever's on your phone, to make it think you're a computer. And then you can get the OS Maps thing. So you can do that on the phone. Everything else, yeah, you can just do it on your phone. Right, so any pitfalls, what I would always say is always look out, because some of these little lanes, I don't know, you probably can't see them, you know, sometimes you get the name, like I know if it's Stain Street, I'm doing a video for that. Always zoom in. Now, you may or may not be able to see this, but I've spotted that one says private. It'll let you map sometimes down those lanes. It shouldn't, sometimes it will, so just watch it, because they are private lanes and they'll be barred off, they'll have signs everywhere. I always also do a sweep with the sat-nav view just to see where I'm going. You know, if it's really been raining, it's in winter time and we're tromping through loads of woods, odds are you're going to get muddy. If you don't want a muddy walk or it's raining, you might want a hill walk. You'll get blown around more, but you'll probably get less mud. So yeah, look at where you're going, plan your route, and then have a zoom in just to give you a feel for where you're going. The only other pitfall, it's very rare, but I've found, and I imagine it's the same on other apps, occasionally it gets it wrong. Not very often. I would say 99% of the time it's okay, but occasionally, I've got an example, right? There's a place near Lancing outside across the top of Steep Down called Titch Farm, and it's on Titch Hill Road. And All Trails shows you there's a route that you can go up through the farm, which is a really good shortcut, saves you ages. But when you get there, there's always signs saying private, private, you mustn't come through. And I was irate the first time. I was like, All Trails tells me it's a footpath. And I went and looked it up. And the best way to really check if it's a footpath, public, bridle way, you know, what kind of path it is and whether it's you can go on it and it's not private. Go on council's websites. I know West Sussex have got one. They will have the definitive routes. And I went in, checked that one, and sure enough, it is a private path, which is really annoying because it makes it a much nicer walk and you have to go on the road. That said, nothing I can do about it. So don't 100% trust this thing. Be prepared to change your route. And the great thing with this is you've got it on your phone. I use it on my phone. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I can check it on the fly. Like here, you can probably see all these different lines. There's ways and means. There's the trundle I went to the other week. Yeah, so there's ways and means. You know, if you get stuck, you'll find a way. There's other footpaths, you'll find your way back. So, I've probably bored you enough sitting in front of the computer. We'll do a summary. Right, weather's got bad and started raining again. It's funny how it can turn. It's really stormy earlier. It goes sunny, goes rainy. Watch my weather video for some advice about that. As I say, the only reason I'm not out is because of lightning. Anyway, so you've done that. You sorted out your map, decided where to go, done a bit of research. What I always do before I go, night before, and in the morning, I check the weather. I use a couple of apps just to double check what they both say. I use BBC Weather and I use another one called tomorrow.io and it's just called Weather. And I don't subscribe to that. I use the free version. It doesn't show lightning, but the BBC one does. So yeah, I always check, get an idea what to wear, etc, etc. Then when I'm out, I basically run All Trails on my phone. So the map I did on the computer, I can then get on my phone, and I can also download the route so I can get it the GPS signal when it's offline, because I'll generally put my phone in flight mode when I'm out walking, because otherwise it will flatten out. And also if you've got the internet, what tends to happen is you lose signal all the time and it'll keep looking for data hotspots, and the next thing you're down to like 20% on your phone. I also carry a backup battery. I think I've mentioned before I should learn to read a map, and I don't. But as I say, where I go walking in the southeast, I mean, generally go south, you hit the sea. It's not like going up into the wilds of Scotland or the Peak District or anything like that. You know, it's never say never, but then I always have a backup battery, and I do carry a compass. So I hope on this rainy day when I couldn't go out, that gives you an idea of how I go about planning my routes. As I say, there's plenty of routes on All Trails and the other apps already there, but I just love planning my own. And sometimes you find new places, you find trails that people don't normally go to. That's why I find my deserted trails and things, and it's fun. As part of the fun of doing it, you find something you look on a map, you plan it out, bang, and you go there, and it's like makes it real. So I love it. That's it. Hopefully next time you'll catch me outside. So, bye.